While you're using the internet, you may be picking up spyware, downloading malware, or using fraudulent sites without even knowing it. But don't worry, your browser does a number of things to help make sure you avoid running into malicious websites. And there are also some precautions you can take to stay safe. Something as simple as double-checking domain names can save you from accidentally visiting a site with unsafe content. Malicious sites often use deceptive web addresses to trick users into believing they are on a legitimate site. Many web browsers will highlight the domain when you're typing in a site's web address. In this case, it's just a darker font than the rest of the web address. Being able to clearly read the domain name makes it easier to double-check and make sure it's correct. This will help make sure you're going to the real, trusted site and not a phony site with a similar web address. And if you are about to access a site that contains malware or other malicious content, many web browsers will show you a warning. Some websites will display this padlock image or a similar image. When you see this, you know that that site has added additional layers of protection by making sure your connection to the site is secure, so third parties can't see your personal information. This is most commonly seen on certain types of sites, like banking sites. You won't see this on all websites, and that's okay. Not all sites need the extra security. Finally, another easy way to make sure your browser is providing as much protection for you as possible is by making sure you have the most recent version of your browser. Your browser will usually notify you when it has a new version or if there's an update available. But if you think you've missed or ignored updates, you can manually check for updates. In Chrome, click the Menu button. Then select About Google Chrome. By practicing just a few simple safety measures, you can browse the internet more safely. The internet has become an essential tool for communicating, which is partly why it has also become a popular target among scammers and cybercriminals. In order to safeguard yourself from email scams, harmful software, or identity theft, it's essential that you understand the ways you might be at risk. In this video, we'll go over the basics of identifying and avoiding potentially harmful content on the internet. The first line of defense begins with your email inbox. You've probably heard the term spam before in reference to junk email. Spammers can send an email to thousands of people at the same time, and they can do so anonymously, making anti-spam laws hard to enforce. So it's important to be cautious when it comes to opening emails. Fortunately, though, many email services now provide customizable features to help you protect your inbox. For example, the ability to turn off email images. Spam contains images that senders can track. When you open the email, the images load, and the spammer will be able to tell if your email works, possibly resulting in more spam. If you're using Gmail like I am, you can turn off email images by clicking the gear icon and then selecting Settings from the drop-down menu. Choose Ask before displaying external images. Then click Save. Now if I get an email with images, Gmail will ask if I want the images to be displayed. Most email services also check to see if incoming messages are spam. If it finds spam, it will store the mail in a spam folder, so you don't accidentally open it when you're checking your email. Spam blocking systems aren't perfect though, and there may be times when legitimate emails end up in your spam folder, so it's a good idea to regularly check and make sure you aren't missing important emails. To check your spam folder in Gmail, click More in the left pane. Then select Spam. And here you can see all the emails that have ended up in your spam folder. Many email services have a feature you can use to mark emails as spam. In Gmail, I can just select the email and then click this button to mark it as spam. This helps your email provider to filter out these types of messages in the future. Some spam emails are simply annoying advertisements. Others will claim to be contacting you about something important, when what they're really trying to do is steal your personal information. This is known as phishing. It's a type of scam in which an email pretends to be from a bank or another trusted source in order to trick you into handing over your personal information by asking you to complete some sort of action. They may want you to re-enter a password, verify or update sensitive information like phone numbers, addresses, or credit card numbers. And they almost always tell you to do so by following links they provide. It's a good idea to avoid clicking links in emails. Instead of clicking the link, retype the URL into your browser's address bar to ensure that you go to the correct website. For example, here's an email that looks like it's from Bank of America, saying that some personal information has been changed and asking me to verify the changes by following a few links. It looks real enough at first glance, but it's surprisingly easy for scammers to create deceiving details such as these. Remember, phishing emails won't always look like they're phishing. The whole purpose is to look like they're from your bank, credit card, or another trusted company. Think of it this way. If someone came to your house saying they worked for your bank and they needed your social security number to verify that you're the account holder, would you give it to them? Chances are you wouldn't give out that information. Look at emails the same way. Just because an email says it's from a familiar company doesn't mean it really is. Spam, scams, and phishing schemes will keep evolving just as the technology to stop them does. But if you know what to look for and what to avoid, you can keep your inbox that much safer. Online shopping is a quick, convenient way to buy almost any product you could possibly imagine. While there are some risks shopping this way, if you know how to identify a secure online store and how to protect yourself, you should be able to shop with confidence. To have the best possible experience buying online, there are a few important things to remember, and it all starts with your computer at home. Making sure your computer's operating system and internet browser are up to date and installing some good malware protection software is your first line of defense against viruses, malware, or fraudulent activity. To further protect sensitive information like credit card numbers, your best bet is to shop from home. Avoid using public Wi-Fi or public PCs like library computers. If you've purchased products online before, you're probably familiar with some of the larger retailers like Amazon or eBay. These sites have become so popular in part because they've earned a good reputation for protecting their customers' personal information. With sites like these, there's less to worry about in general. However, there may be a time when you find that the hunt for a rare or specific item has taken you off the beaten path in the online marketplace. If you find yourself shopping on an unfamiliar site, make sure to look for HTTPS and the padlock symbol in the address bar. These things indicate that the site is SSL encrypted, which means it provides the security necessary to better protect your personal information. And always be sure to make note of phone numbers and physical addresses, so you know how to make contact in case there's a problem with your transaction. It's also a good idea to do some research on what you're buying and who you're buying from. If you're tempted to buy something from an online store you've never shopped with before, take a minute to do a quick search to see if you can find any reviews. No matter what site you're shopping on, whenever you log in with an online retailer, you want to make sure that your passwords are strong, long, and different for every site that you shop with. This will make it harder for your account to be hacked, further protecting your privacy. Once you're ready to purchase something, there are a few things to keep in mind when it comes to safe payment options. Credit cards are generally your safest option. Or you can also use an online payment service like PayPal or Google Wallet. These services keep your credit card information stored on a secure server, allowing you to make purchases through them without revealing sensitive information to retailers. After you've made a purchase, print or save your records of the transaction. Keeping a paper trail of your purchase will be valuable in the event that you have to dispute anything later. Above all else, remember to never send cash through the mail, use a money wiring service, give out your social security number, or send credit card information over email. Legitimate retailers will never ask for this, and if one does, it's pretty much a surefire indication that you're about to be scammed. In the end, use your common sense and trust your gut. If a deal seems too good to be true, it probably is. And if anything seems suspicious, don't make the purchase.
Suppose you're shopping online for shoes. Then you decide to check a health site and you see an ad for shoes. You switch over to YouTube to watch a hilarious kitten video, but first you have to watch a shoe ad. Later, you open the Facebook app on your phone, and guess what? Sponsored post about a shoe sale. How do all of these sites know that you're shopping for shoes? Well, websites use various methods to track your browsing habits. Each site may only gather a little bit of information, but together, it forms a sort of digital profile that advertisers can use to learn all kinds of things about you. An advertiser can plant a small file on your computer called a tracking cookie, which they can use to identify you the next time you visit one of the sites they advertise on. They can also get a pretty good idea of which devices you use based on your social media and email accounts, or by using a technique called probabilistic matching, which makes educated guesses about which devices belong to the same person. So one way or another, all of your devices are connected to you. And that means companies can send you targeted ads no matter which device you're using. This does raise some privacy concerns since the information is collected without your knowledge, and there is a fear of how this information could possibly be used. For instance, could an insurance company deny coverage based on a person's browsing history? You can take steps to limit the amount of data collected, such as blocking tracking cookies in your browser settings, but with the current sophistication of tracking, they're pretty easy to get around. However, there are potential upsides to all this data being collected. It allows sites to recommend articles and videos based on your interests, and helps search engines more quickly find the results you're looking for. As the technology continues to advance, sites will find new ways to tailor their content to better meet your needs. It's hard to say exactly where this will lead, but for better or worse, digital tracking is part of the modern online reality.
You may have heard about the complex and sometimes controversial issue of privacy on Facebook, but have you given any thought to the level of privacy you're comfortable with? It's different for everyone. Take Judy and Brian. Judy uses Facebook primarily to keep up with friends and family. She prefers more privacy because that way she can talk about her personal life, but still keep her private life private. Brian, on the other hand, uses Facebook a lot for networking, making new connections, and socializing in a very open way. He prefers less privacy because for him, putting himself out there is what it's all about. There are 3 different places where you can control your privacy on Facebook: under Privacy Settings for your account, on individual posts, and on your profile. Each item has its own set of options, so you can pick and choose what you want to share. These options may seem confusing at first, but once you know what they mean, you should have no problem customizing your account. Let's take a look at the 6 most common options you'll find while adjusting your privacy. The first is Friends, which is a popular choice for a lot of content on Facebook. Basically, this option will protect the item in question so only the people you've added as friends can see or interact with it. Friends is the perfect choice for things that you want to share, just not with people you don't know. Another similar option is Lists. Lists let you organize your friends into groups, so when you share something with one of them, for example, with your close friends but not your coworkers, only the people in that list will be able to see it. This gives you the freedom to share what you want, but not necessarily with everyone you know. The next option, Friends of Friends, is slightly less secure. It extends access not only to your friends, but also to their friends. This can include people you don't know, even people you've deliberately chosen not to connect with. Therefore, you should only use this option if you feel comfortable sharing with anyone your friends may have connected with. Public is the least secure option. It allows everyone on Facebook and on the web to view your profile, activity, and other information. It also opens you up to third-party applications and advertisers. Only Me, on the other hand, is the complete opposite. It prevents everyone but you from seeing the information in question. For example, you may want to be the only person who can see photos that you've been tagged in. That way, you don't have to worry about anything embarrassing or unflattering showing up on your profile. The last option is Custom. This setting lets you decide on an individual basis who has access to your content. It's especially useful for things like your contact information, photos, and other details that you want to share with some of your friends, but not all of them. You won't necessarily find these options attached to every item on Facebook. Sometimes you'll only have one or two to choose from. Sometimes you'll find what you're looking for under Custom instead. You'll also find the options are slightly different across the web. For instance, have you ever been to a site that lets you like or share things directly to your timeline? How about a site that lets you sign in with Facebook instead of creating a new account? There's actually a word for this feature. It's called the Facebook platform, and it can impact your privacy in a couple different ways. Some sites use the platform to connect your account to their services. Others use it to customize your experience based on your personal info. To protect yourself, always read the description that's provided, including the site's privacy policy, and don't agree to anything you're not comfortable with. You can view or edit your connections to other sites by signing into your account. In short, the key to understanding privacy on Facebook is simple. You control what you share based on the choices you make. Now you know what to look for and what all the different settings mean.